going to happen on the Clifton side? This is very encouraging about what the work you've done and what the type of people that you're bringing in and enterprises. But what's going to happen on the Clifton side, and how do you see that impacting us?
Well, we can tell you what we would like to see happen, as you can understand. And in speaking for Gene and myself, we are in about our 10th reiteration of a plan for that site. And a lot of it is going to be determined by end users, okay? There, at the current point in time, are two specific users in advanced negotiations. Whether they happen or not, we're not sure. But one would result in a roughly 1/4 square foot build to suit on the northwestern portion of the site, on the other side of the tracks to the site, you know, fronting.
Where Isabella.
Yeah, where Isabella comes in. The other one would be for a build to suit for an approximate 70,000 square foot user, probably fronting closer to Route 3. All right, so taking those two potential advanced stage users into account, not that we're designing around them, but we're designing by integrating those into this thematic latest version of master planning. And by the way, our master plans are only changing weekly, roughly. Now, because we want to get it right. We really want to get it right. And the biggest thing to get right is for people not to feel they're in Clifton or Nutley. This is a campus, okay? It's a 24/7 live, work, play environment where all things are integrated, where the people from Nutley can utilize the facilities in Clifton and the people in Clifton can utilize the facilities in Nutley. We're getting pretty darn close, I would say. You know, that's what's been going on for the past 6 months, 5 months.
Yeah, Commissioner Tucci, I don't think that you know, from the original Joint Repurposing Commission study that Perkins did to the study that we showed from Genser, we still see the campus in sort of a 0.75 FAR range, which again would produce roughly 3.5 million, 3.8 million feet of total improvements. There's 1.2 million existing now, right? Roche at the height, we went through their records and calculated, I think they had 4.7 million at its peak in
square footage.
Right, total square footage at one time.
Without one parking garage.
Without a single parking garage. But I think that those mixes of uses, what Ed is referring to is that while we are in the midst of working on the plan and for both sides, we had an opportunity to present to us to look at two specific uses. One a clinical laboratory and the other a multi-specialty medical building to house some medical offices. We're in fairly advanced discussions with them that put them on that side. The balance of the site, again, I will tell you, yes, we are having significant discussions with hotel, right? So to look to bring a limited service hotel brand to the campus, and not on the highway. As we've been through our master plan, the thing that we're seeing to do is we're trying to pull things off, bring them more into the roadway network that we're developing, so that, again, as Ed points out, so that we don't want to see this sort of Maginot line in there between this is Clifton, this is Nutley. Right? We want to see people look at this campus as a campus, right? And refer to it as On3 and see the benefits of coming in from both ways. You know, we talk about ingress and egress. We've made our application to the state DOT to reopen the Route 3 entrances. I think in 3 weeks we should have approval there. It's going to be open limited for the moment since we're still doing lots of construction on site. Right? But the you know, part of this idea when you think about the campus, Route 3 is only good if you're coming from west to east.
Yeah, if you're coming the other way, where do you go?
You know, there was a reason Nutley's address, Roche's address was 340 Kingston Street, Nutley, and not Clifton, right? The front door of the campus was here. So if you were coming from the east, or the north and accessing that direction, or the south, you're gonna enter in off Kingston campus.
And it really was never a Route 3 at that point in time.
So that's you know, don't lose sight of that. I think everyone jumps
Yeah.
out and thinks it's this campus on 3. It's, you know, it's, yes, it is. It's on 3. But the other thing is out of the main front door, it's going to be for a lot of these tenants and the med school students and the like, is going to be coming off Kingston, which is
Definitely.
why we were looking at spending such a tremendous amount of time and money and effort in how those roadways work and the entrances function to move people in and out of the
Do you see the possibility between or adjacent to those two pillar buildings, I'll call them, of integrating some residential there? And I know Mayor Anzaldi was very emphatic about no residential, no big box stores,
Nothing,
no
no
commercial,
nothing.
I don't
No
want
nothing.
anything.
I just want
exact.
15-story office buildings.
That was about it.
So you know, our last meeting with Clifton indicated that,
Yeah.
that there was a loosening if the residential's a luxury apartment living, that we're more high-rise or mid-rise.
We were
in
very
nature.
encouraged by our last meeting with
Yeah.
Clifton, very encouraged.
So that's now become a possibility.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you know, the reality is setting in more, you know, the buzz is around, and people are talking, as Gene referenced before, and they want to see something that works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they realize, you know, we still have to do a lot more in the way of having conversations on individual and group basis, to telling them how good it is for the community and how good it is to attract the people to fill office buildings and, you know, medical and R&D facilities. So they're getting it. Slowly but surely it's there. But we walked out of that meeting in Clifton, you know, feeling better than any other meeting that we have in Clifton.
And let me, you know, add to that, I think that you play an important role, right?
Absolutely.
And the planning role, getting your planner on board, Clifton having their planner now on board. We can't really begin to have those conversations with the public,
Yep.
right? And the public can't begin to be
Yeah,
educated
what are we
about
going to tell them?
why something should be one way versus another, or why some use won't work in concert with the next, or such densities, until we can get through the process and begin the process with a civic planner, so that we can begin to frame the arguments, understand the positioning of the municipality as well. And that itself, and that document, and that conversation with your planner and yourselves will, again, begin to roll out and start getting more public comment, begin to educate the public again in terms of what's happening and why it should happen, and giving feedback from the public so that we can see. We've been in meetings, quite frankly, where someone has stood up and said, hey, what about this, blah, blah, blah. And we said, wow, you know, we didn't think of that. You're right. That's something that we should consider and something we should put in. So I think we maintain, you know, I think hopefully you found us to be extremely open when you first met us. We are still that way right now. We continue to be extremely open to consider lots of different things, but, you know, there's a lot here. It's a big piece of land. There are certain constraints around it already because of the existing buildings and where Hackensack's situated on here. But we remain open to integrating
some of our biggest
things that
issues
matter
right now.
and can help the township and help people in the town too.